Due to the nature of this session, there may be coarse language involved. If you are sensitive to coarse language, I invite you to step out with me and we can discuss it. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't read the guidelines. I guess I should.
Welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Epic wants to atone for their sins by schooling you. Linus knows how to save the Linux desktop. It's steamy, and Hitler invades L.A. Suck it, Brazil.
Steam finally supports streaming from Linux, but how's it fare when we run it through our ringer? Beamdog announces Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition, and we're still waiting on Baldur's Gate for Linux, and Dolphin leaps through some performance hoops. Our favorite Wii emulator gets a cool new update.
Randy Pitchford gets to eat a bag of Linux. Also, Borderlands 2 confirmed. AMD releases a driver to support a single graphics card. At least it works on up-to-date kernels. Feral Entertainment wants to know why. Why, baby, why?
And that was the giggling death all the way from space, Portugal, followed by J-Man. I'm a heterosexual.
Preceded by,
what's
you
up?
mean?
It is now.
Technicalities.
And together with Shat Realm Dynamic, we do form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. So
Look it up on Urban Dictionary.
It's brilliant, man.
Yep.
Don't look up the sex move, though. It's all teeth and nails. Before we get started, we'd like to see what's going on in each other's life organs, so let's play that game over here. Something that kind of works, sort of works, maybe. I'm not going to quite yet recommend it, is the Vantac external 7.1 channel audio adapter that we are using to record this. We'll see if it records.
And
if
now
we
that
have
you
a
named
show.
it just bursts into flames.
Right.
Yep.
Black hole sucks all the mixer cables up. So
That was the final nail in the
wait
coffin.
until tomorrow before we have any words on that. J-Man, what's up, baby?
Oh, not much. Just another workaday week. Got some vacation. I won some fucking Kung Fu Fighting card game thing. That is a thing, and that's about it.
Okay. And around here, I installed Ubuntu 14.04 64-bit on the calculator. I do miss some of the Fedora ways of doing things, but I get Gallium 9 and Direct 3D patched wine out of a PPA. That's kind of awesome. So I'm good.
PP.
PP.
Speaking of PPs
PP,
on the internet, if you have a website you want to host featuring PPs on the internet, you should check with Schnappy, who has some fetching sunglasses.
He does,
But
buddy.
only Canadian PPs.
You see, one thing you don't realize about Schnappy is he's got a small bladder, so his eyes are a bit bloodshot from forcing that out, maybe a kidney stone or two. But most importantly, he does that for your great satisfaction by offering unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth, easy one-click install control panel, and that's a real boy, 24/7, 365 days. You're like, Vin, you're just lying, you're going to talk to, an answering device or something. No, 3 o'clock in the morning, I've called them. They got right in my ear pussies, and I was hammered. And they still managed to decipher Vin Spook and get my issue resolved.
Ven Spook?
Vin Spook.
Just Ven Spook. Not Ven Speak, Ven Spook.
It's not as fun as Vin Spooge, but you can get 20% off at $3.96, basically, starting at $3.96 a month, Jim. That sounds like a great deal.
You know, I think we can beat that, because if you enter our offer code LinuxGameCast FTW, that's fuck the world, not for the win, you get 25% off your purchase. Holy shit! I'm gonna have a seizure.
I swallowed my tongue.
I got a boner.
How's the horse doing this week?
Hey,
The
it's
horse! No, look!
Horse.
It's coming from the distance at light speed! It's our Steam!
Update
of the
week.
So let's just hopefully have audio on this so I don't have to do a hard edit and listen to what Linus has to say.
15 billion different versions. And I'm on record as saying that maybe Valve will actually save the Linux desktop. And it's actually not because I think games are important. I don't care. I don't play games. I think some people do, so games may be important. But the really important issue is, I guarantee you, Valve will not make 15 different binaries. And I also guarantee you that every single desktop distribution will care about Valve binaries. So the problem is Valve will build everything statically linked and create huge binaries, and that's kind of sad. But it's what you have to do right now.
Boom! I've been screaming this for years.
Points.
From the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Well, not this horse's mouth. The other.
Yeah, the other one.
But I mean, he brings up a valid point. It's a lot of people do actually care about gaming, and a lot of distributions understand that gaming is a huge thing or a huge part of why people actually use computers. So they're gonna work towards making sure that their shit works with Steam and SteamOS and Steam Runtime and whatnot. Yeah. So it may help with a great deal with overall standardization of the various fragmented Linux distributions.
I like the whole idea, and I still remember looking back at SteamOS, and still I was like, why don't you push that? You're the chosen one, Doritos, Jedi, P-Man.
Because
I have
still
the high
missing
ground.
Some particular things in SteamOS that people need, like a music player, which is still in beta. So maybe they'll get it right, and hey, games drive adoption, right? But that got me thinking, will a bunch of screeching Nancys actually help with the... Canonical is still a thing. Right. Never mind.
All right,
and that made zero sense, but what does make sense is Steam in-home streaming got an update with the September 3rd release, and you can now stream from a Linux host. That's pretty fucking cool. We all tried it out.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So we all tried it out. I think we should maybe take turns describing our individual experiences with that. Then.
Okay.
All right. So I finally got around to installing Steam on the Steam box, SteamOS, Real Boy, and all that. Streaming from the Ubuntu render box here. Didn't have an issue with the keyboard and drum. I was like, oh, that works fine. I was like, let's pick up the controller organ. I was like, oh, no, we're not having any of that. Okay, well, not bad for the second attempt. I didn't try anything fast and furious like J-Man.
Yes. So I tried a couple games out using streaming. I tried the game we're reviewing this week, The Bridge.
Reviewing?
Reviewing. It's a word. Look it up. It's a perfectly cromulent word, Ben. But yes, so I tried the game we're reviewing this week, The Bridge. That worked reasonably well. Again, like Ben said, the controller support is nil. One other thing I noticed is that at least streaming from Fedora to Fedora, audio just doesn't work. I didn't really dig any further than that. I also tried distance because I figured let's try like a fuck you high quality visual game with everything turned on to 11, turned all the Steam streaming stuff onto 11 with all the hardware encoding from host and from clients. And like it's still choppy, but it's playable. Maybe if I relaxed settings on the host, it would be a little better. But Pedro. One last thing. Don't alt tab while you're streaming games.
Yeah, don't.
You're gonna get an interesting experience. Because again, this is hardware accelerated VNC. You must realize this.
Yep. But yeah, streaming from my old desktop PC, which is running Corora 20, to the calculator on Ubuntu 14.04, I get sound coming through the stream. That's good. If I try the other way around, nope. Only the host PC plays the sound, the client just doesn't care. But much like Jordan, I also tried distance, and streaming from the calculator to the desktop PC, setting the render resolution to 720p, it was almost playable. Still a bit choppy, but almost playable.
Were you doing that over the wireless, or were you doing this over the wired?
The wire. All
Which is a
the
great
wire.
show, only second to Breaking Bad and possibly something else. I forget how exactly that joke goes. But no, there
It's
was
the greatest show. Maybe since The Wire.
All right.
But I
Good to
hear
see you.
Space Australia got an update.
Good news from Down Under. So Left 4 Dead 2 is coming. The uncensored version, that is coming to Australia.
I like how they
So-
say legal, like there's not an entire fuck-mothering industry around bypassing this. But go ahead.
Yeah, the imports game industry in Australia is kind of big. But yeah, Left 4 Dead 2, the uncensored version, finally got classification, so you can now legally buy it in Australia and murder zombies and get all the gore and all the bloody visual effects. So if you're a player from down below, this is your time, man. This is your time.
But you know, anime in Australia is still considered child porn.
Yes, because, lolitas. But now, with twice as much contempt, we get into Borderlands 2 from our friends over at rootgamer.com. They picked up on some activity in the Steam database and some Linux contents and executables and the Linux English version and all that. And they posted this article. And I'm like, okay, let's ask the Aspire guys if they're the ones doing the port. I figured since they did the macOS port, might as well have done this. And there it is. Confirmed.
Yeah. The
Yep.
the real clincher is that it's a virtual programming port. So
No, I mean they ported Civilization 5 to Linux, and that was a native port from a game from 2011, 2010.
But if I
can't
remember
remember.
correctly, you got on your knees and said, can I get a little? And what did they say about that?
Yeah, I sent them an email asking, congratulating them on thanking them for the Borderlands 2 port and the previous Civ 5 port, and they said, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. We like to do things right, and we've just added you to our press contacts. We'll be in touch soon." Good times.
they still have yet to one up Feral, but we'll see.
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, Feral did it pretty good.
In all fairness, we got like total access to Feral, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe we'll
Press
reply
Eric.
to him with like, oh yeah, by the way, the other guys are doing native ports.
All right, so this is a RoboCraft. It's a free-to-play early access game, where it's basically, what was that fucking game we covered a while ago that had like the Lego, you build your own vehicle and then
Have
you
we
sort of-
already forgotten?
Oh, okay. We were talking about this before the
Yes,
show, and
we
now I can't
have.
remember anymore.
Yeah.
Scraps.
Thank you for ruining the fucking bit, man. You asshole. I wrote it down in the show notes so that we could fucking do this little thing, but no, you have to kill all our fun. But RoboCraft might not. So basically, you build your ship, you fly around, you interact with other people. They describe it as
car.
ship or car. They describe it as sort of a world of tanks with customization options like Minecraft meets World of Tanks. That's the exact analogy they used. I don't know how accurate this is.
What
I
if
didn't
it was
actually
like
get a chance
Minecraft meets World of Things?
Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, it's blocky, but it is again early access. But it is free to play, so at least it's priced appropriately because paying for betas in 2014 seems to be the norm, and for once, it's not the case.
I just want to know what this free-to-win thing is. That's like, well, we're not going to completely rape you. I mean, if you want to spend 3 billion hours on it, you can technically beat it.
It's probably going to be one of those games that doesn't have microtransactions, but requires dedication and part of the player. So, yeah.
How do you kill that which has no life?
Yep.
But then I hear our friends at I forget what the fucking
Elephantopia.
Elephantopia, the Elephant Man.
Mick Droid, what is it? You never heard about it? It's an action tower defense with the resource management. You control robots, plant trees to heal wild giant, I really wanted to say testicles. Teslas.
Wheeled.
Head in a trench. Solo story, campaign co-op. All right. They've sent some updates.
Yes.
And look, even in the forums, we're not going to get into what happened in the forums and their forums. But I said, is gamepad support a big issue? It's like, no, it's not. The big issue with the gamepad support, if it's plugged in, you can't fucking play the game. That's my Lewis Black. But, down here they said, note, gamepad is not supported, which I think they should have made a better note, because up here it says full controller support.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, I don't think this is type. Well, it might actually be kind of fun. You could probably get away with playing this with, your gamepad. It might even be a fun experience. Does not work if you're thinking about picking it up. The game works. Multiplayer is dodgy as balls right now, isn't it? Go ahead.
No. Well, we did a Players of this a while back, so you can go back and watch that if you're interested. No, it seems like a fairly input-neutral type of game. It would probably work just as well as it would on controller as it would on keyboard and mouse. So.
Yeah, you basically just move around and click on shit at the bottom bar.
Yeah.
Although on my end, it's a thing that I notice with some people that don't know how to Unity, and I love those guys at Elephantopia. They're kind of awesome, but yeah, they don't know how to Unity very well.
Well, they got to the end of their experience and went, oh, right.
Yeah. Because there's texture flickering all over the place. I've tried disabling everything, enabling everything. It doesn't affect the frame rate. It's a constant 30 on my end, so it doesn't get to 60, and VSync doesn't let it go any higher. So, but yeah, there's big ass texture flickering and a big ass cursor in the middle of the screen with improper alpha blending, which means you just get a white square below it that covers almost a quarter of the screen. It's not pretty.
It's not pretty.
Still a fun game. Take it with what it's worth. Currently 10% off. That's going to run you 17.99.
Yeah, I know for a fact that the cursor issue is a non-issue in NVIDIA, systems.
Land. NVIDIA land. That's what we call it.
We like to call it the future, Pedro.
Yeah.
The future!
I know that was cold, but...
So this is cool. This is Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. So you might have heard of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, where they basically...
I did. A long time ago.
Where they basically took the original Baldur's Gate and they shoved an updated engine under there. They improved the graphics and whatnot, and they ported it to a bunch of shit. Tablets and Mac and Windows, but not Linux. We're still waiting on that.
iOS, Mac, and Windows.
And Android, actually. I think they have an Android.
Is it out on Android yet?
I don't recall.
I don't think so.
Androids, tablets, and phones coming
soon.
But anyways, so for those of you who don't know, it's a D&D inspired RPG based off the second edition rules. You basically run around, kill shit, get killed a bunch, and reload your save, and try again, and hopefully the die fall in your favor. I really like Joji Icewind Dale. I'm a fan. I was excited to see this announcement, but we are, like I said, we are still waiting on the Linux ports for Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, which were promised, and we still haven't seen them yet. So I wouldn't hold my breath just yet. But I do feel the need to point out that there is this wonderful little open source project called GemRB, which allows you to play Infinity Engine games on just about anything: Android, tablets, Raspberry Pis, Linux. So that is still a thing, and they've made improvements to the engine, and they've increased its
It can
moddability.
almost run Neverwinter Nights at this point. Almost.
Except Neverwinter Nights is Aurora, not Affinity, but Infinity. But actually, interestingly enough, the GemRB project are saying they are going to try and support the enhanced editions of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. So there's the thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. But it's time for, I'm really sure I'm going to misread this title, Ben.
Nope. But you know what you're thinking the first time you read that. It's like, date what? Oh, date warp.
Warp.
Yeah. So, what is it? You never heard of it. 5 days ago, Janet left her dorm to go, and somebody's going to get shagged. Was she kidnapped? Question mark. Murdered? Question mark. The truth may be even stranger. Something about puzzles
Or
text
naked.
adventures.
Yes,
And check out this
Lolita
last
tits.
picture right here. She's already mostly undressed.
She's not 13, she's 18.
Yes.
Yes.
Currently 15% off, so it's going to clock in at normally $9.99, $8.49. And I genuinely wanted to say this. Anyone who is out there that, no joking aside, this is a genuine question, enjoys playing these graphical novels like this where they're a little bit rapey, you find fun doing that. I mean, the softcore porn, the visual novel. Send us some hate mail. Communicate with us. I want to know what goes on in your brain organ, good or bad, left or right, up and down. I'm just curious.
So I actually do have a friend who plays a lot of these visual novel dating sim games, so I can get him on the show and ask him. He's a really creepy dude, though. So.
Well, that probably explains that.
But you know, as far as softcore porn goes, this is like poorly drawn softcore porn too. I mean, look at some of the art.
It's fake anime. It's Western people trying to get that anime feel to the characters, and they fail miserably.
It's not even that. It's just not drawn particularly well. So that about wraps it up. We're gonna hop on the Quantum Slipstream and ride it out until our news segment comes about, where we get to explore the joys of releasing drivers for one video card.
Just the one.
Enter.
All right, so it's the news, and it's sort of a LGC tradition at this point to start with AMD driver news at this point. So let's get on with it with this week's AMD Catalyst 14.30 software suite, or whatever they're calling it now, for the Radeon R9 285. And my first reaction to this was like, oh, look, it's a whole bag of nope headers straight for Nopesville. And then I actually read into it and tried to install it on my end and failed miserably at it. So here's the thing. You need to either back up You need to either back up an FGLRX compliant XOR conf before installing the drivers, or at least copy the control file, which is located in the FGLRX folder. It automatically extracts common, etc.
Pedro, I don't believe you. There's no way an AMD automated script will cock up an XOR config. Nope, you're lying.
But yeah, that doesn't even matter. You have to have an XOR conf compliant file, or copy the control file from a previous version into the new one's install folder. Also, this new version does not work with Xorg 116. And
but wait, it's getting better.
But what does it mean?
It means that it only works with one video card, the R9 285. That's it. That's the only card you can, out of the box, make it work with. That's it. But if you were paying attention to Linux_gaming during this week, you would have noticed that Kembrontro in the thread was actually got downvoted to hell because he mentioned that the Phoronix article that they linked was again telling lies, because according to Michael Larabelle, it works out of the box with all AMD products.
For those of you who are not watching this live with the video, Ben is writing a comment that says, kill me! And it's making me giggle.
But yeah, at this point, congratulations, AMD. You've cocked up yet another driver release, but I don't give a damn because I have Mesa 10.4 running with the Gallium Direct 3D patches enabled.
Oh, okay. Now, we're coming up on a very serious bit, considering we
have to educate some people.
We're the keepers of all things Linux gaming. That's it. We're the final word in it, and only we can make these types of decisions. So everyone remembers, this is pre-Linux for some of you kids, the Unreal 3 never fucking happened, even though Ryan C. Gordon made it. It was a thing, and they was like, no, we're just not going to bother with it. And a lot of people bought it because Epic said, we're going to... this to this date is the only game from Epic in the Unreal series that has not been released on Linux. It's a fucking unicorn with AIDS.
An AIDS-acorn, if you will.
AIDS-acorn.
Yep.
Let's work with that. What I'm going to propose next might sound preposterous, but hear me out.
Okay. Sock it to me, baby.
Unreal Engine 4 is free now for academic use. That means if you're going to put some schooling in your brain organ, you can learn to develop on this, and it's not going to cost you a bit. No subscriptions, nothing. School info, contact info, student license, and boom, you're going to get some of that beautiful open sourceness with a real modern, like, fuck you, because that's why game engine to play with, to start with, which is just mental.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my proposal. Gentlemen, since we can only decide this, no one else can we absolve Epic of their Unreal 3 sin by doing this? Is this their final peace offering that makes everything right in the world?
I would say so. One thing you didn't mention about their education thing is you can't actually sell the games from this. They just keep the royalty. That 5% is still that they still keep that flat 5% off the top. So that's pretty nice. Your university may have other ideas though, like the guys from Distance painfully found out, but
MIT is kind of tight with their licensing.
Man. Oh, they absolved.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm willing to put them on probation and absolve them until it comes out. Because if it doesn't come out in, say, a year, it gets retroactively disbanded, that so-called absolution.
Well, what comes out? This
Sound
is already
fair?
out.
What's coming out? I don't quite understand.
But yeah, the absolution gets revoked. Mind my English. I'm not a native English speaker. Come on, but yeah.
Who the fuck cares? Get to the point. Get to the point.
All things considered, this is very, 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 very good news. And I ask now, can we please finally bury Unity? Please?
No. But I will say this is actually pretty awesome. If you look at game design courses in most universities and most colleges like Trios and whatnot, or Full Sail, it's a very DirectX heavy curriculum because that's what people are going to be using mostly. What's nice is because you're using a engine that basically their main selling point is this will fucking run on most modern hardware, most modern operating systems, even your potatoes.
Yeah, but maybe I want to edit natively in Linux, man.
Yeah, no, that's the community already took care of that for you. So,
and it's coming.
It's coming.
Hopefully it's coming Unity.
But anyways, as I was saying, this is really good for introducing students to the concepts of cross-platform development and robust code that you can port from one architecture or set of hardware to another. It's something that is really, really lacking in most computer science courses, because most of them actually just say, here's Visual Studio, have fun with that. And people are restricted because they only know how to use Visual Studio. They don't know how to switch out compilers. They don't know anything like that. So all in all, this is a really good thing, and I'm glad Epic is doing it.
Yep.
But the real question is, will it game?
Yes. Aspire Media, Feral Interactive, the other guys, they ask us, why do you play games? Why do you game on Linux? Please spread this question. So,
I
let
read
us know.
Hither is like, please spread this question, Hitler. I was like, what?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hitler. Well, no, we'll get to that at the end of the segment.
Yeah, so Chat Realm, send us some hate mail. Tell us why you guys game on Linux. Ven, why do you do it?
I don't know how to quit you, Linux. I've been doing it for like 17 years. And we're not talking about like, I run Linux and I dual boot Windows. Nope. Linux only, 17 years, fucking lawn, uphill, both way, in the snow, all fit.
Jordan?
Honestly, it beats the ever-loving fuck out of booting into Windows.
Yeah. For me, it's basically knowing what your PC is doing at all times and not having it randomly spawn an svc host.exe that drains 100% of one of your threads. and not having to fight against whatever set attempt at an OS lockdown that Microsoft or Apple think of at the time. And mostly because if I do dick around with Linux and it breaks, I know that it's my fault. And I can just fix it. Try doing that in OS X or Windows.
I've tried doing that in OS X, and I wanted to kill myself, and I did.
Unfortunately, it didn't stick, but I mean,
I got better.
Genuinely, yeah, you put the Band-Aids on your temples. No, Linux is fantastic. For me, somebody who like, started in 95, in 2014, I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, people coming into it now are still like, penguin curious. You've been playing on your Steams, on your Windows, and on your Macs. For every time I launch Steam on Linux, I still get a little bit of a chubby. Come on.
No, hell, it's for me. It's gotten to the point where I can't even use Windows. I can't even function in Windows without Cygwin being installed.
Yeah, it just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, but speaking of killing oneself and repairing the damage, there is this.
Something
and
was
the extensive plastic surgery that occurred on Linux_gaming has kind of pulled its own rivers. It was supposed to make things better, but it just made it worse. So if you go to our favorite subreddit, Linux_gaming, reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming, you'll see, and for those audio listeners, you should probably just open up a browser and go there right now. They've sort of dropped the Kiwi motif and are now I can't even read what the fucking the head graphic looks like.
We've freshened up this subreddit's theme with a more flat, simpler read wannabe a Mac. Do hope you like it. Yeah.
It hurts my eyes.
It's way too white.
It actually hurts. It is whiter than Ben, and that is saying something.
Yeah.
Look at this. I mean, this is like epilepsy, the control mechanism. Look. Oons.
Honestly, it looks cheap, lazy. What's the word I'm looking for here? Oh yeah, it looks like ass.
I put this in the show notes, and I forgot to say it, but these guys really need to pick a color scheme. It doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out with a broken Windows CD.
Just anything. I mean, and stick with it.
Yeah,
because whoever is like part of the CSS team, which is great work, whatever you're doing, great. Lime green, not a good idea.
Yeah,
in general, I was a graphic designer in a past life. Bad idea for the web. Period.
Yeah.
That means that you hate people who are colorblind.
But you know what? We love these guys. Check them out. Just shield your eyes when you finally close the page.
Leave them a note saying something like, "This looks like ass."
All right, and now we have our good friend Snorky here, who oh, screw it. This is Dolphin. You might know them as Snorky Talk Man. So this is the August 14th.
Wait, were you trying to summon your groundkeeper Willie accent and just couldn't pull it off?
Yeah. It happens. I can't do it 100% of the time. But this is the Dolphin Progress Update for August 2014. And for those of you who don't know what Dolphin is, shame on you. It is the Wii GameCube emulator that runs on anything.
Yeah.
It's not specifically for Linux because it runs on Mac and Windows too. But if you want to play Wii games on a computer, this is the way you do that. And they have a very cool thing. They have done a lot of work on their JIT compiler, and that has caused a 26% emulation performance increase for their CPU. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, although everything considered, it was sort of a regression. That drop in performance that they got, it was a regression because in earlier patches, it was slightly better. Now they've managed to get it back up to where it was.
Because they're trying to make it more accurate.
Yeah, they managed to get it back to wherever it was the right way, and they're kind of awesome.
They are. They do a lot of cool shit with the drivers too.
It is. I mean, you gotta. This thing has been able to run Wii games since forever, since right when the Wii came out. Because I remember playing Super Mario, and I was like, it ran like ass, but it fucking ran. So definitely check it out, and it does GameCube games beautifully. And you can actually play them in 60 frames per second, and sometimes with HD textures.
All things considered, the GameCube generation actually played console games at 60 frames per second. It's the newer generations that do 30 FPS. But yeah, I honestly wanted to play Monster Hunter Online with everyone else, my little brother included, but they still can't do it. Still doesn't do that.
There's more of you? Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. At least we have a backup co-host when he finally kills himself.
Man, I need more drugs to handle this. But there is a professor at our very university. He said some things. Sven, why don't you play the clip?
No. Listen, I mean, sometimes you just got to stretch and say no. All right. That's all.
You get all 6 and you get a bite-sized Snickers.
But here's a game starring a gentleman that wouldn't hurt a fly.
Das Führer in L.A. is out now. Oh, look at that smile. He would not hurt a fly. Schnell.
No. Listen to what this man has to say. Would someone who sounds like that ever hurt anyone?
No, you got to check this out. Basically, the premise of this is, Odessa kind of cocked up right at the end of World War II. We're looking at a bit of the video. Right now, instead of sending him to right proper Brazil, he ended up in L.A. Then shit gets real. You basically go on a murderous rampage as only Hitler can do.
What are you talking about? He wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
Gentleman.
His issue with it, the only issue I have with this game is it's only 1.99 wet stinky caches, and I can't bring myself to buy it until I'm done
wait a second.
editing.
$1.99 and you get to play as Hitler? That's a fucking bargain.
Can't buy it because I know, it's so recalculous. You got to... there's nothing about this that I'm not going to sit down and just play the entire thing all the way through. I don't care if it's only 30 minutes. I will be fine. Führer in L.A. from Ankaar, ANKAAR.com. You can check that business out. It's also on the Play Store. $1.99.
Yeah.
That business
it is actually cheaper on the Play Store, so if you want to play it on
it's 99 cents.
It might be a great tablet game, especially if it's got some horribly bad Nazi propaganda in it that you can accidentally play out loud. But all that business, like everything else we've mentioned, will be available in our show notes once the show's released. So if you're worried about having access to it, if you want to get access early to our show notes and all this business, throw them some quid. You'll see some advertisements coming up about how you can do that later. So that's going to wrap up the news, Jim.
Yeah, coming up next, we throw chairs at hipster, not pixel trash, just hipster trash.
You spin me right.
And welcome back to HPUX Gamecast. This week we are reviewing The Bridge by Ty Taylor and Mario Castaneda. Or Castaneda, whatever. I butchered his name.
Castaneda.
I at about this point, once Pedro starts correcting me, I stop caring. It is a Unity game. You can pick it up for $9.99 wet stinky caches or wet stinky space bucks. And what is it? The Bridge is a 2D logic puzzle game that forces you to reevaluate your preconceptions of physics and perspective. As Isaac Newton meets MC Escher, manipulate gravity to redefine the ceiling and floor while venturing through possible architectures. And basically the mechanic is you can rotate the world and you have to sort of use that to solve puzzles with gravity and warps and mirror universes and whatnot. It's actually pretty cool. So we're going to cross that bridge and go to the Chairquisition. Yes, that very lazy transition brings up our screen where we show that 1 chair is equal to shit. 2 chairs is meh. 3 chairs means that's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that it's fucking amazing. And, of course, we have our categories of doom, makes with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So, for The Bridge, Ven, did it make with the working?
Makes with the working. Now, we're testing this on what we like to call the base minimum poorest system you can build is an octo-core dual 770. I mean, that's really the best way you can do it. Running Ubuntu 1404 64-bit LTS, just for the lulz. Hashtag Dorito. No issues, considering it's a Unity game. I don't get to say that a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, 4 chairs for Mix with the working. J-Man, what do you
I don't
got?
get to ding it 2 chairs because it didn't fuck up my monitor. And I played this over Steam streaming too, so good on them. So that's 4 chairs from me.
On what?
On my Fedora 2064-bit powered 1090T 670 superclock powered system.
Yes, everything is powered. On my calculator with a 5650 HD AMD graphics chip and an Intel i3 370M, it ran out of the box, didn't fuck up my dual monitor configs as Unity games are off to do, and much like Jordan, I could stream it to my 10-year-old desktop PC and it works stupidly well. 4 chairs.
Wow, a Unity game that has 4 chairs mixed with the working. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yep.
Really, I'm not being facetious. Up next to Shiny and Sounds, Ben. What do you think?
All right. Well, let's take a little look at it. Let's see if we can get a little bit of video here playing. So, it's black and white. Hey, that's racist. My first impression, this is great on a budget. Really, the door, chapter, selection, rewind mechanic, art style, etc. Yeah, that's a thing. Then I played it for a while, and, well, heavily inspired by Braid, it branches into its own game. I mean, it's its own thing. That said, the sounds are meh. The soundtrack is meh. And when I need to solve complex puzzles, you put on the Slayer. You don't put on fucking Anya or whatever the hell that was in my ear pussies. So, just for the sounds, the Shiny's fine. Dig the art style. It grew on me. It took a moment. It's like a fast cancer. So I'll give it a 3 chairs for, that business.
Yeah, like Ben said, initially the art style made me groan. This really looks like pretentious douchebag goth sketchbook. But it grows on you as you start to play the game. You're like, all right, yeah, I got this. The soundtrack, I don't know. So for half of my playthrough of this game, I was listening to the excellent debut album of Gamma Ray from 1991 called Heading for Tomorrow. You should go listen to that. But I...
Shameless plug.
Shameless. Yes, because some speed metal band from Germany is going to give me props. Please do.
Hint, hint.
I want free tickets to all your shows, Kai Hansen. Give them to me. The soundtrack, actually, these guys just like the soundtrack. I thought, when I had the soundtrack on, I noticed that the puzzles seemed to sort of come to me a lot faster.
Did you ever play it when you weren't baked out of your mind?
No, I was pretty baked out of my mind. I'm not gonna lie. So I may not be the best.
HD kind of helps too.
Yes. So I don't know. Like the soft piano at least sort of helped me think. So I'll give that 3 cheers.
Yeah, for me, it reminded me of Braid meets And Yet It Moves. You may remember that game from the early Humble Bundles, when they still cared about Linux.
Wait, you mean the one with the exact type of spinny level mechanic? That one?
Yep.
All right.
That one.
Yeah, well, and Yet It Moves was the entire mechanic. It was just like a ball that you...
Yeah, it was just the only mechanic it had. Was
Wait, didn't
just
it also
spinning
have a
up.
black and white stick figure that you controlled?
The
No.
stick figure was also black and white, but the levels had a bit more color. This one
yeah.
doesn't even have that. It's just purely black and white with a sort of a sepia filter thrown on it, so keep that in mind. I like a good soundtrack when it comes to background music, and this game doesn't have it. Now, the atmospheric sound effects are good. The music, though, is sleep-inducing. Pair that with the slow gameplay because your character moves very slowly, and you've got Snooze Fest 2014. Some of the smaller levels, when you start spinning around, the camera doesn't zoom back all that far, and you see all the spinning on the screen. That made me a bit motion sick. So,
How many buckets? How many buckets, Pedro?
No buckets because I stopped playing before I got actually physically ill.
All right. Well, that's a goddamn shame. So that's 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control. Then
Controls. it's kind of particularly hard to cock up something that really only requires 3 controls. Here, trigger, right here. Here, trigger. Maybe a little joystick action. And that B button. Now, here's something you don't normally say. Unity game, work out of the box with the exclude controller. You would think that would be a common thing, but it's not. I didn't mind it. It's genuinely difficult to fuck all that business up. But they didn't. So, here we go. Maybe the first time for a Unity game for mothering chairs.
Well, so honestly, I think the sign that you weren't going to have an issue was when that little magical Unity configuration box doesn't pop up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they actually have something that allows you to edit settings within the game. That's generally an indicator that you're going to have a relatively good experience, at least under Linux. But yeah, more or less what Ben said. You can't really screw this up. It requires like literally 3 buttons. You can play this on a Sega Genesis controller. You absolutely could. So like not even like the fighting game one with like 6 buttons. You just need 3 buttons,
right?
And a D-pad. Yeah. So 4 chairs.
Yep. Now it's Unity. So as far as Unity games are concerned, this thing doesn't exist. It just doesn't recognize it. Doesn't happen.
But did you figure a way around that?
Yeah, I did. And since the game actually recommends that you play with a controller, because they're very keen on putting up a screen and say, this is best played with a controller. So I'm like, okay, let's work my head around Xbox DRV, the driver for the Xbox 360 controller on Linux, and maybe I'll be able to emulate, an Xbox 360 controller with this thing. Lo and behold, all of a sudden, it actually worked. So for me, it can't get 4 chairs because I had to learn Xbox DRV, but it gets 3.
All right, that's reasonable. So that gets 3 chairs for controls. And our final subjective category, and you got to remember we are 3 different people on 3 different bits of hardware, running 3 different distributions. Well, really 2, because we have 2 Ubuntu guys. So, fun! Ben, did you have fun?
Funny, fun. Didn't want to like this game. Didn't. Let's be perfectly honest with the audience. This thing was on sale for basically naught. It was like 99 pence. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm just going to buy this, and we're going to use this for a stopgap game in case we don't have anything fun to play. Had a fun conversation with Jordan. Jordan's like, well, I have to buy this game myself. And I was like, I already bought it for you. He's like, no, you haven't. And I was like, it's in the inventory.
That is totally not how that conversation went.
That's exactly how it went, and he apologized to me profusely. In this magical
no, you're missing the part where I got completely naked and started grinding up on you.
Well, that was kind of hot.
That was hot. Totally hot.
That's just called a Tuesday around here. No,
except it was a Friday.
For me, the fun really kicked in at the first double key level, and I think that it is the 3rd, maybe possibly 4th level.
Yeah, it was the 3rd chapter.
We have the 2 keys and they're spinny, and you get the first one, you're like, all right, done. This other one is it keeps sliding, and I was like, all right, fine. Take a break. You come back. For me, fortunately, it was just accident. I was like, wait. That's
do it carefully.
Yeah, that's when I first realized there's several levels that you start out like that, and you're like, oh man, I fucking got this, and the developers give you just enough hope to be like, and they quote, I was like, fuck no, you do not have this, not at all. You're gonna go back and you're gonna brain on this until you figure it out, which you will. And then again, like I said, this is something I didn't expect to have any fun with whatsoever. Considering the average playtime for this is like 7 ons. Not hours, ons. Farscape. Fuck the world. Then after you finish all 4 chapters, there's another fuck you hard mirror universe on top of that.
Yep.
I didn't want to like this. I thought this was going to be something we were just going to trash on, be done in 10 fucking minutes, but it turns out to be entertaining and not fuck you hard, but it fired up some of these old synapses in alcohol and all that fun stuff, whatever's in tumors that are in my brain, I'm sure. I had fun with it, enjoyed it. I genuinely want to finish it and get to the mirror universe. I had fun. All I can say about that. So, I'm gonna give it 3 shares, man. I mean, it's not a perfect game. It's got some faults, but J-Man.
Yeah, no, I found the puzzles to be very, very clever, and the art style grows on you. This might be hipster trash, but it's quality hipster trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ben said, I wouldn't say this game is like fuck you hard, but it's challenging. It actually makes you stop and think, and sometimes I don't know. For me, it was like I had to put the game down for about 5 minutes, walk around, brain on it, and then come back, and then I figured it out. The game, one thing I did notice is that the game has a very, very good progression when it comes to introducing new things. It doesn't just throw shit at you. The first puzzle is one new thing. The second puzzle is 2 new things. Third puzzle is, oh, now hear them together. Fourth puzzle is one new thing, and then the last puzzle is everything together. That's the pattern they tend to follow. And I think that works very well because it makes you feel like you're actually learning the game. And you are. You go back and you do the other puzzles, and even if you don't remember how to do it, you're like, oh yeah, I got this. Because
you understand those
now
mechanics,
you understand,
right?
Yeah, now you have a very good and strong understanding of the mechanics.
They do not beat those mechanics over your head.
They really don't, and the way the game educates you on how to play is very, very good. I wanted to hate this game. I thought, oh, this is going to be like another fucking shit game that I'm going to play. I was pleasantly surprised. Like Ben said, definitely not like a perfect game, but certainly worth your money considering you're going to spend a lot of time on a bunch of these puzzles. You're going to get your money's worth. So,
Yep.
cheers.
Personally, I really like the lateral thinking you need to do when it comes to puzzle games. And in the latter stages of any chapter, you really need that lateral thinking skill at its A game because they're not obvious.
Mm-mm.
If you look at the level, you get, okay, so I need to do this goes there, and then you actually start trying to do it, and it doesn't work the way you imagined it.
And
And
sometimes,
you
like
die.
some of the like baddies, like you think, oh, that's the thing I need to
Yep.
avoid, turn out to be the things that are going to help you.
Yeah, this is the thing you need to actually finish the level. And I like that. Portal and Portal 2 did that at they did it very, very well. And this game comes very close in a 2D only environment with spinning the level around and the careful construction of the level itself and how the platforms go and how the gravity.
Yeah, even how the physics work is it's
Yeah.
very well thought out.
It's a properly designed puzzle game. I liked it. But I couldn't play it for more than 20 minutes at a time because then I would hit a level that was just a tiny little bit area that I'd have to spin around. And my eyes couldn't deal with that. So, yeah, it only gets 3 chairs.
All right, and that's 3 chairs with the fun category. So if we shove these all into the gravity blender and stick them in a black hole, that black hole will eventually eject all that mass, and we'll get enough matter to create 3 chairs.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. If you like challenging, even before I get into my little spiel, 2D physics platformers are not dead. This proves it. This is different. It's the rewind mechanic, some of the art style, very liberally taken from another game that rhymes with braid.
Is it Braid?
But after you get over that, this is its own game. I mean, if you like challenging platformers, this is going to scratch your itch. This is something, even at $9.99, I'm going to say, if that's your bag, maybe, you're not going to be disappointed considering just the initial game has like 7+ hours of average playtime. And this is one of the few games that was like, I'm going to go back to this because it makes me think. And you're supposed to do that when you become a geriatric like myself. And, I don't want to be in the home not remembering things. All right, so anyway, what do you think, Ron?
Ron. I'm trapped in a glass case of emotion. No, I was really pleasantly surprised. Like I said before, I wanted to hate this game. I did not. The levels are very well thought out. I would say even at $9.99, you're gonna get your money's worth. And the great thing about this is once you beat the puzzle, you feel really good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because you're like, yeah, I did it. I'm not a complete fucking moron. So
that particular puzzle right there took me a moment.
oh yeah,
that took some thinking.
that one took a while and a couple rewinds. It's just like, but what if I? No.
But then you get it.
Yeah, you get it, and you feel awesome because you finally got it. And that is the hallmark, I think, of a good puzzle game. Is once you figure it out, you feel fucking awesome about yourself for figuring it out. So I would say buy this; you will get your money's worth.
Okay, now I'll start with saying something a bit controversial. If you're an avid defender of the whole video games are art mantra, this is right up your alley. Also, to quote our friend Josh Walrath over at PC Per, it's $9.99 for a game that will probably last you around 7 or 8 hours with the mirrored levels after you finish the main ones. So you're getting your money's worth. When it comes to indie games nowadays, if you get 5 hours out of a $10 game, that's a pretty good game right there. This one still gives you another 2 or 3. Keep that in mind. And if it wasn't for the motion sickness, I'd probably play a whole lot more of it, but I don't think I will.
I don't have that issue. You see, I have chameleon vision. I can't see 3D in movies or anything like that. I have no vertigo. Yeah. Excellent pilot, except, when I was doing the piloting thing, I was driving like the honk, get out of my way blade. So I couldn't do barrel rolls or anything. But yeah.
I can do spinny things if they have a lot of colors, but my astigmatism doesn't like monochromatic shit spinning around.
See, I have functioning eyes, so I don't.
All I'm hearing is we need to play a lot of spinning monochromatic games from now on.
Yes.
All right, shut this business down.
All right, coming up next, we have 5 hours of meatspin.com. That's a lie. It's our hate mail section. Hey, like the show? Check us out at LinuxGameCast.com. Click on the podcast button for RSS feeds, our wall of shame, and donato buttons. There's also an Amazon affiliate link, because making this shit is hella expensive, yo. Speaking of which, if you like kicking us somewhat stinky, a recurring donation gets you a producer's credit at the end of the show, and a one-time donation gets you into the super ultra mega chocolatey fudge Linux Gaming Super Squad. Broke as shit. Can't steal your parents' credit cards? No problem. Spread the word on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and YouTube. And remember, kids, fuckity bye.
I like to claim that this is your favorite segment of our show, but I may be wrong. Yeah, I may be wrong because we rarely ever get any actual hate mail, but hey, it's the hate mail. So just a quick reminder, if you'd like to get in touch with us, go on over to linuxgamecast.com, push the lovely contact button on the nav bar there, fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're smarter than Ben's bot, and we'll feature your thing. Now, unless, of course, you're trying to promote an Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Steam Greenlight campaign. If you are, make sure to include a playable Linux demo, alpha, beta, prototype, call it whatever you want. Just make sure to include a link so we can play it, because if you don't, not only will we not feature your thing, we will make fun of you. Sound fair? Alrighty then. So, Monster Cameron, he has something to say.
He writes in. He's all about like, hey, great episode, guys. Very synergistic puns. By the way, Pedro, you can upgrade that laptop? I thought you had a gerb. ...
Yeah, I do.
Wait, are you also Jewish? Hashtag mild sarcasm, says our token black fan. Also, you guys going to put Sandy back on to embarrass himself.
Hey, Sandy, you got a fan.
Yeah.
But hey, I do have a gerb.
I'd ship it.
I do have a gerb, But yeah, I just moved in and I had to buy a lot of furniture, so I don't have a lot of money set aside. So I'm not comfortable spending a lot of money. And not only that, but prices when it comes to computer parts here in Portugal are kind of like games. So it's dollar equals euro. So let's say a 750 Ti. Instead of costing $150, it costs 150 euros, which is way over $200 at that point. So yeah,
Pedro,
I'm kind of
Pedro.
confident.
Haven't you heard there's a thing called credit cards that'll let you spend all the money in the universe and never have to pay it back?
Thing. I've lived for 28 years without a credit card, and I don't want to get one. Nope.
Good luck getting a mortgage then.
I'm just saying, Amazon rewards from Chase, credit card, love it. It's fantastic when you're ready to check
but
out. And it's like Amazon's like, hey, all
direct
those rewards that you've gained, cash them in.
Yes.
Amazon UK has some weird policies when it comes to shipping shit to Portugal. So yeah, that's the sole reason I haven't actually spent like 1,000 euros making a new PC for myself, because I really want to. I just don't have a lot of money at the end of the month to actually justify that investment just yet.
Your tears are no longer tasty.
That's fascinating. All right, so this is not a regular channel for hate mail, but we figured we'd bring it up nonetheless. It was Binary Penguin from Linux_Gaming, our favorite. Not Kiwi anymore. Now it's just, I don't even know what that is. But he says, how do I make sure that a game I've bought from Steam gets registered to the developer as a Linux purchase? And that is very simple, as one of the guys from Aspire says. You just basically have to buy it from your Linux client and play it within the first 7 days on Linux. And then it will be counted as a Linux purchase and they will get the money.
But wait, I actually have a better idea.
What's that?
Get rid of your fucking Windows, you damn heathen.
Oh.
No, I'm just throwing that out there. No, you're perfectly allowed to be Linux curious. It's like, I need to use Windows for whatever, and I want to play games on Windows, and sometimes I'll use the Linux thing. That's fine. We love people who do that. We have nothing against them. What we do have issues is those same people who goes, well, I dual boot, and if this game's not there. The second you fucking bring your dual boot logic bullshit over and try to fuck with our Linux gaming politics about what should be considered a Linux game, or how a game should be ported, and if wine's okay and acceptable, you need to eat the most ginormous bag of greedy dicks that you can find possible in your local market, preferably free range. Not that there's anything wrong with that. What was that, Pete?
Free range cock.
Yeah, that's the thing. I hear a lot of dual booters using the Linux users should be thankful that they got a port at all argument. And at that point, I just want to reach in and slap them across the face. But unfortunately, the internet doesn't allow me to do that just yet. Google, get on it.
I mean, really, realistically, the long and short of it is, if this were any other platform, no one would take this shit. We have as consumers, we do not have a lot of rights and we do not have a lot of power.
We're a fucking third world country at this point.
Yes, we are the space Portugal of PC gaming. So we have to fight. We as the pure Linux gaming community do have to fight in order to get our voices heard and to be treated with a modicum of respect, I would say.
But Jordan, then you just get called entitled. You're an entitled motherfucker.
Then I would refer you to a dictionary and tell you to shove it up your ass. Up next, Schnappy. So this is from Chris.
Poop the bed.
Yes, so Chris says, hey, I was just checking out some pricing on getting some web hosting and went to check out HostGator with your guys' codes, and it seems your code of LinuxGameCast fuck the world. You only get a discount of negative $9.94, whereas the default code that is already there, Snappy, the discount is negative $23.88. Just want to let you guys know in case you're wondering why people might not be using your code. Well, thanks a bunch for that, actually. We weren't actually aware of it. So, Ben, you've gone and fixed that, right?
I have. With setting up the codes and all that, listen, Schnappy's great at hosting. Schnappy's not really good at setting this shit up. I mean, it looks like some shit I built with frames, not iframes, frames, in the mid-90s. I did go back and fix it. It was set for $9.94. Now it's back at full 25% off. So you can put that business in your face organ, rub your nipples, and I do hear that if you do it in front of a pot of water, it will boil. It's one of Snappy's abilities.
Oh, look, there it goes. Ooh.
And on that bombshell, cue the music, because at the end of the day, you can always find us at linuxgamecast.com/live. 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, you never know. It depends on what brilliant new audio system I come up with and completely wreck everything. And that happens not necessarily every week, but more than likely every other week. I'm Vin Stone. You can find me at Vin Stone on the Twitter nets, plus Vin Stone on the G pluses. What's up, Stone?
You can find my Erect Nickles at the Burning Pool on Twitter nets, or plus Jordan Smug on the Google Plus.
It's a very, very erect Nickelback. But I'm Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on the Google Pluses.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, I just give everybody Yes, let's play some Comcast.
Yes, Time Warner. Say my name.
It's Rogers in Canada.
Please tell me.
No, I need
my nipples are like pencil erasers, man.
I think I need a new pair of pants.